What's going on YouTube? It's Chris bringing you guys another Fantasy Puck video, and today we are going to be covering elite players you need to avoid in your drafts. These are players that are elite by either their name or considered to be elite in the NHL, but don't always translate as such in fantasy hockey. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a like if you guys want to support us. It definitely helps us grow the channel, and we're very close to 3K, so thank you guys so much. You guys have absolutely been killing it with the likes and everything on the videos, so let's get right into it. All right, first up, we got Quinn Hughes, and I know that Mike has already touched on him in a previous video, but this is just to reiterate Quinn Hughes is obviously a good player, and 68 points in 76 games is very good as a defenseman. There's absolutely no questioning that whatsoever. Great power play asset as well, but the thing that I'm not a huge fan of when it comes to Quinn Hughes is just his peripherals. Only 150 shots, only 19 hits, and plus minus is definitely a concern with the Canucks. Around his ADP, which is currently at like 50, I would rather go with a guy like Morgan Riley, who's going to get you closer to 220 shots and 92 hits. Just a personal preference. They scored the exact same last year, so I'd rather go with a defenseman that just has more peripheral options outside of just scoring. In points leagues, though, absolute gem. Staying on the same trend here, we have Matt Barzal of the New York Islanders. Definitely, I believe, an elite playmaker in the NHL, and his stats reflect that. 44 assists, 15 goals. That's a great season for Barzal there with 59 points in 73 games, 20 of which are on the power play. And I know a lot of you guys are high on him this year just because of the whole coaching change, and hopefully that opens up the Islanders' offense. But to me, there's a couple reasons why I'm off him this year. Number one, same as Quinn Hughes, is he's just too one-dimensional for me. Doesn't do a lot in terms of peripherals, doesn't hit, doesn't have a crazy high shot volume or anything. And plus minus, again, like as good as the Islanders were in the past, we don't know how they're going to be going forward. So there's a little bit of uncertainty there. If you look at his ADP, it's kind of reflective of that he's a one-dimensional player and just hits scoring categories. And by no means is this a bad thing. It's just at his ADP at 158, I'd much rather go with a guy like Vincent Trocheck, for example, who has a 70-point upside and still has good peripherals on top of that, or at least stronger peripherals than Barzal has. And again, like Barzal could have a fantastic season. They could open him up offensively. He just doesn't seem like a guy that is going to eclipse into a high-volume shooter or just all of a sudden start throwing hits. Barzal was also minus 15 last year, and I'm not really too intrigued with the players that he could be playing with. Anders Lee, Josh Bailey is who he's currently scheduled with on daily faceoff, but outside of that, there's just way too much uncertainty with the Islanders and Barzal, so for that reason, I'm avoiding him. If you were able to grab Matt Duchene later in your drafts last year or pick him off waivers, boy, were you ever thrilled. 43 goals, 43 assists for 86 points in 78 games, 29 of which were on the power play, and a total of 228 shots is a very, very good year for Duchene. But as always, shooting percentage gives us a great idea of whether or not a player is actually at that caliber or whether he's going to regress or improve. And as you can see here, Duchene's shooting percentage doubled last year in comparison to his 2 prior years with Nashville. So for me, that's a big indication that Duchene will not likely produce at the rate that he was last year. So he's definitely in a void for me this year, and especially with his ADP, like 76, that puts him just at the end of the 6th round, early 7th, and there's just a lot of better options there, like Patrick Laine right there at 82, Drake Batherson at 85, Joe Pavelski at 85. Like, these are just a lot safer picks, in my opinion, than going with Duchene after he, puts up 86 points. And literally doubles his shooting percentage with Nashville. So I definitely avoid Duchene in your drafts just because he's definitely going to see some type of regression. Mark Stone has been nothing but great for the Vegas Golden Knights, and the captain unfortunately had his year cut short due to having a back surgery, which does not sound fun to me, but he did manage to post 30 points in 37 games. So why do I have him as a must-avoid this year? Well, again, you're seeing a little bit of a trend here. He's more of that setup kind of guy. Doesn't like to shoot the puck as much. Doesn't really hit either. And the real reason why I have him as a must-avoid is just because of his ADP. His current ADP is 47.5, which puts him in the 4th round. And just to give you guys an idea of the players that are surrounding Stone within this range, we've got Svechnikov at 37, DeBrincat at 40, Kane at 41, Eichel at 43, Jason Robertson at 49. And these are all players that I think add more versatility in terms of categories being hit, like shots, for example, hits. If you get land a guy like Svechnikov, especially. And I just think that, even though Stone is playing with Eichel, he's just very limited in, again, what he can do as a player from a fantasy perspective. You're really just banking on him getting 20 goals and hitting 150 shots. So, in my opinion, I don't think that's worth a 4th-round pick. I think you have better options outside of Stone, and I definitely recommend avoiding him in that round altogether. Kadri really capitalized on his opportunity with injuries in Colorado, especially with McKinnon being out. As you can see here, last season, he saw a huge increase in average time on ice compared to his 2 previous years in Colorado. And that was really the driving and deciding factor for Kadri's outstanding season, having 59 assists and 28 goals for 87 points in 71 games. Kadri likes to shoot the puck as well. Had a great shot total last year of 247 shots, and he's usually a pretty good lock for around 25 to 30 goals consistently if he stays healthy. Kadri's a must-avoid for me this year, and I know that a lot of people are looking at him and saying, like, it's very unlikely that he repeats the season. I agree, but the main reason is just, like, the lack of talent that's surrounding him now. Like, you go from playing with guys like Rantanen and Landeskog to guys like Tyler Toffoli and Blake Coleman, who are slated to skate with him on the second line, and that's just a huge downgrade in talent around him, and that will definitely affect your point totals as a player. Still likes to shoot the puck, though, and he doesn't hit as much as I thought. Like, 52 hits is not a lot of hits for a forward, and just given his ADP range of around 68, I think there's better players available. Like John Tavares is one that really stands out, Sam Reinhart on Florida, Evander Kane on Edmonton. Like, these are players that just have a lot more upside than Kadri does. I'm avoiding them altogether just because I don't believe the production will be anywhere close to what it was the year before. And just given the fact that he's probably in more of a shutdown role this year with Calgary than what he was playing in Colorado when he was just having a phenomenal career year. Before anybody flames you in the comments, I know I took him in that one mock draft. It was a bad pick. All right, let's leave it at that. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out our other social platforms, including our Twitter, for all of the NHL updates once preseason starts. And check out our Patreon for all our premium features, including our projections and trade analyzer. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully you have a fantastic rest of your day.